Hey guys, Craig here, Product Manager at Broker Engine. I wanted to walk you through how I've managed doing construction loans over the last 10 or 12 years inside of my practice. The key thing here for a broker is that we settle the land, which is great. You settle on the land, but for the client, that's only half of the story. You know, a great experience to then and a crap experience or a bad experience rather to get to the finished product and the client gets to move in. That's what the client's looking for. And so I wanted to walk through how I manage continuing to provide a great client experience all the way through to completion of the build, taking myself largely out of the process and ensuring that I'm not having to spend too much time on it. And what I do in my practice is I use a combination of checklists and workflow to manage that. So for example, the first thing is we have a checklist here called construction. So the checklists are available on the right-hand side. And look, you can control what's in your checklist, but out of the box, what we're looking for here is we need building contract work, we need public liability insurance, council approved plans, fully signed construction contract, and then you need a letter of commencement issued. And against all these things, of course, there can be tip text and little videos to point your team to what those things mean. We're then going to have obviously the first payments made all the way through to 5, and then the final request received is where you need to get a little bit extra information, such as final payments. Is it made by a bank check? Is it building insurance? Have you got building insurance received already? Final payment made, and then updating the client's address and sending the congratulations gift. And you can quickly add in there. So for example, if there was a progress payment 6, for example, you can quickly add in, progress payment 6 paid or what have you. So that's the first thing we would use, and that just gives you and your team, if you receive that and you're waiting on those two, it gives you a visual indication of what you're actually waiting on to get that letter of commencement. So that's using checklists to sort of keep up to date where you are inside of the construction process. The second thing we would use is obviously in the Kanban, this client here is the building client, and this client's going to go through these different stages. And what you can do is as the client moves through the different stages, progress payment received, submitted, and complete, you can set up your own workflow. So I'll show you an example of that now. So to set up your own workflow for different things, you just go to your workflow settings here, go to workflow templates, and just create a new workflow. Again, we're going to provide some out of the box to our users, but you can create your own. I'm going to call this, 01 progress payment request received. And what I'm going to do is I only want to trigger this workflow when the deal or the record moves into progress payment request received. So it's going to trigger when it moves into that stage. I'm going to have it set for the entire broker group, not just per particular broker, but you can sort of change that. And what I want to do here is I want to have ideally a task, and the task is going to be something like get it signed, submit to the bank. So I'll just pause and create that task. And before I do that, I'll just go, so all I do there is create the task. I'm going to give it a name, check and submit request to lender. And again, you're going to put in a priority in your queue. You can, here in the task description, it's a good idea to put a little video, like a Zoom video on what this means in case you've got a brand new user starting with you for the first time. So a Zoom video is a good idea. It's a good idea to put some more context around this. So what things are required? Has it been signed? Being signed. And you can put that sort of stuff in the checklist as well. So that's there. I've got a task. And what I want to do is once that task is completed, I then want to create an email. And once that task completed, so that your team sent it to the client, I'm going to want to move stage actually. So I'm going to want to move stage. I'm going to move stage to progress payment request submitted. So progress payment request submitted to lender. And that's going to be the end of that workflow, because all I want from that workflow is create the task, do the job, and then I want to move it into submit from lender. I'm going to save that one, and I can publish that one. I'm now going to create a new workflow now, and my next workflow is going to be the submitted to lender one. So on the submitted to lender one, pause this. I'm obviously going to have it trigger at that particular stage, so submitted to lender. And again, here I'm going to want an email that goes out. So my email is going to go out. I'm going to use an email template. And in my email template, I'm going to give it a name. I'll just fill this out quickly for you. So all I've done here is just created, it's going to be shared to the entire broker group, who's it's to, and also progress and the subject. And then I'm going to do a quick one here, which is going to be, hi, client preferred names. So it's hi, John and Mary. Thank you for the recent payment. I have, submitted to, and I can insert the lender. So here's an example. I've submitted to the lender and I follow up in 2 days to confirm received. Any questions, please let me know. And attached to that, I've added a little attachment, which is my construction FAQs, which I attach to most of them just to give the client a bit of info about the different stages and what to expect and how the repayments work and things like that. So that's how. So I've now created an email template there, which I can use in other workflows. So I've created an email template. So when the deal moves into progress payment submitted to lender, I've now got an email that's going to go out. I'm then going to want to probably do a delay, and I'm probably going to want to, I'm going to want to do a task rather, and the task is going to be to follow up to confirm it's received. So there's my task to confirm that it's been received, and I probably want that to populate, say, 2 business days after I've sent it. You might want to change it, and again, you can. So 2 business days after the email's been sent, I'm going to want a task. But I want the task to create straight away. I mean, the other option I can do is do a delay, which says, wait 2 days or 2 business days and then do the task. The issue with that is that there's no visibility. You wouldn't know that the task is there. Whereas if you create the task immediately and it's due for 2 days in the future, it's there, it's going to be there. And what you can do, of course, is you can cancel pending workflow steps as well. So the workflow will stop if it's already been paid. So I've now got an email and a task to follow up that's been paid. And then I'm probably going to want another email potentially that says, it's the ETA on the approval. So I can create a new template for that. So I've just created a quick template here that's going to send out to the client to say, hey, I'm just confirming it's been received and it's due to be paid, and I'll confirm once it's paid. So now whether the user moves it into the stage manually or it's done by workflow, there's now when it's submitted to lender, there's an email to the client, a task to follow up it's been paid, and an email to confirm the turnaround time we expect it to be paid on. We may also want to do an email here to update the related party. So maybe we want to update the builder. So I'll show you how that works. So I want to update the builder. I come in here. So now I've got an email here. It's updating the builder. It's going to be sent to the builder, or it can be sent to you and you forward on to the builder. And it just says, look, hi, builder name. I've just checked with the lender and I've confirmed that for this client, it's due to be paid by this date. Any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. So now I've got with one move of the card into submitted, I've now got a nice follow-up with a couple of emails. And now I'm probably going to want a task to confirm that it's paid. So again, I'm probably going to task here to confirm it's paid. So a task for 2 days to confirm it's been paid, and that'll remain in the queue or the task list until it's paid. Once that's marked complete, the deal will automatically move into progress payment completed. We will continue on with the workflow to update the builder and update the client that it's been paid. And one of the key things we want to do then when we update the client is to give them, again, if it's the final payment, we might want to advise them on what's going to be needed for that final payment. And so now I've just got a workflow here with an email template that's going to confirm it's been paid. And again, I can attach something there to explain what the final payment would be required as well. So now I've got that nice little workflow there. I can now create the email for the builder to update the builder as well. And so here's my updated template to the builder. And I'll now click save on that. I'll now save and publish this workflow. And in the space that I've just recorded this video, I've just built an entire workflow to manage the progress payment schedule. Again, you'll get that out of the box with Broker Engine. We'll copy that to you. But it's very quick, very powerful way to manage your workflow for construction payments. And I'll do another video for variations, similar sort of process. But that's how I sort of manage my process inside of Broker Engine, using workflow, using the dashboards, workflow, and the checklists. Another way you could use it is you could have a stage here for each one of your stages. You could literally have, 10, 13 different Kanban stages where you have, for each different repayment. So it's the first payment, second payment, third payment, fourth payment, and that would allow you to get even more granular around what's required at each stage. At stage 1 for the first payment, we obviously need a bit more to get that letter of commencement, and then your first payment, you need a bit more normally for the first one if there's a first homeowner's grant involved in evaluation. So again, you could get even more granular if you use the Kanban as a full Kanban stage for each stage of the progress payments. And then you could have granular workflow for the first payment and for the final payment as well. But I use the checklist in conjunction with these 4 main stages that we just repeat over and over again. I hope that's been helpful. I hope it's something there you can implement into your practice. Any questions, please reach out to support@brokerengine.com.au.